better not be another. Had some little play date in my end.
Oh,
Yeah,
good you.
he and I.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, then I should have Venmoed you.
She took half. I took half of hers. We're locked. Oh, okay. Thank you.
They don't know how to.
Good morning. It is September 19th, 2024, 9 a.m. And I'd like to call to order the 2024 annual meeting of the Scarborough Economic Development Corporation. Anything else?
Sure.
Do I turn things over to you?
Sure. So, as everyone around the table is clear about, just want to make it clear for any public that may be joining us that this is the business part of the annual meeting. We will be talking about our annual report, which is published and posted on our website on the front page, as well as on the SEDCO board page. We will look at that today, and I'll ask you to accept report. And if you are accepting the report, then that gets forwarded to the town council as a report of what SEDCO has been doing this year. Please feel free as I go through it, if there's something else that's not in here or there's an addition, it's perfectly fine to add to this report, anything that you would like to. So I will go through that and then ask you to either accept or amend the report. And then we'll have a short discussion of maybe priorities for the next year. And then I wanted to make sure that we have a published schedule of our meetings. And this was a perfect way to make sure we've got all of the SEDCO board meetings. Those meetings are also published in the annual report. And then we'll take any public comment, should there be some, and adjourn. And then at the regular, at the meeting that we're having October 28th, that will be where we do the awards and the celebration of business. And as the board will recall, we made that decision to move the celebration of business to the end of the month, just to allow us more room within the inn and to allow for more parking on site. So as we do the meeting on October 28th, there will not be, the restaurant won't be open. And so we'll have all of the parking available, and that should accommodate most of us. And that's one of the reasons we decided to do that. Otherwise, I think we were going to wind up having to move the meeting. And our bylaws just specify that we need to have an annual meeting by the second Wednesday of October. So we are meeting the requirements of the annual meeting by doing this business meeting and by posting it on our website, making it available for anyone to join. With that said,
any questions on that? Thank you.
And with that said, I am pleased to send to you this annual report. We've got a joint letter from John and I talking about really what's been happening this year. We do publish our mission so that it's very clear to the public what we're doing and why SEDCO exists. There's the board of directors, the bios, and then we include our strategic planning committee, who are our ex-chairs, and we have the descriptions there. I have also placed in this report our strategic plan that involves 4 basic initiatives. And then in terms of the highlight of activities, what I've done is I've gone through broken up. We talk about communication, we talk about community activities, and then we talk really about some specific policy agendas that we've been involved in. And then at the end, we go through some basic information about Scarborough and highlight those things that we think people might be interested in. And hopefully we're doing it in a succinct way that is easy to read. So I do want to highlight some activities around communication. We do still maintain what we call the BUS, the Business Update Scarborough. That is our outward-facing Facebook page that is very consumer oriented, and it is where we would make consumer facing announcements. And whether that's sharing good news, sharing ribbon cuttings, those types of things. That's really what the Business Update Scarborough is for. We have our website. Our website is rich in information. We continue to maintain that. And that really does provide some very detailed information for someone who wants to start a business in Scarborough. There's a lot of information if you go deep on that website. And it also introduces you to staff that you're going to run into if you're doing a development project. So there are pictures of the planning staff and the code enforcement staff, and we're certainly pleased to present them in a more friendly way. And this is who you want to talk to if you're doing a development project. As you know, we sit on the staff sits on the boards of the Scarborough Buy Local and the Community Chamber, and we represent SEDCO in the town on those boards. In terms of business organizations, again, a reminder, we do have a community calendar that's very fun and visual to look at. You can access it through our website, or you can access it at Scarborough Community Calendar. I think that's it. Anyway, that link is, yes, scarboroughcalendar.org. And so those links are here. And also the links to the various outlets that we're talking about are in here as well. And last, under communications, with our partner, the Chamber, we do sponsor or try to organize the All Board Summit. This year, we're going to do it in December is the plan that I worked out with Tom. And that gives our 3 new counselors a chance to meet and greet all the folks that are on these various committees and hear what they're doing. And we thought that would be a great way to start their new terms. In terms of community building, obviously the celebration of business and awards is part of that. We have in here our business, the folks who won the awards at the last meeting. We have ribbon cuttings and openings listed. And then we have some information about the holiday guide, which we do produce each year, and a little bit about branding. Last year we did choose to be in Maine Biz's one of their annual publications that describes the town of Scarborough and SEDCO and business resources in town. So we think that's a great way to let people in the state know about the town of Scarborough. In terms of policy analysis, we certainly work on ordinances. We do that partly through long range planning committee, but we also want to ensure that people have access to this information, and we're getting policy changes out to the right people. And we certainly have done that a couple of times this year. Obviously, our comprehensive plan, we were at SEDCO, our staff was instrumental in getting that the comprehensive plan over the hurdle and finally getting it certified. So we're pretty proud of that. And we continue to implement the comprehensive plan. That's where our strategic plan for initiatives came from, is really the work that we've done with the comprehensive plan. And then we talked about a couple of other policy initiatives, both working on a project on homelessness and really trying to assess where we are from housing provision. We think understanding the housing market, given the tight constraints of the labor market, it's important for Scarborough to understand where we are in that. And we will be having a final report that looks at housing supply, the issue of homelessness, and where we are in terms of developing housing in the community and how that relates to the labor force. That will be coming out really towards December. As you know, we've been working on the credit enhancement agreement policy update. We've been looking at impact fees. Once the school has finalized what improvements are going to be made, we'll come back and adjust impact fees for the council and make suggestions there. And we've worked with other staff on other additional fiscal impacts. And then we do have a fairly robust section on what I call intelligence tracking. That's really part of our base skill, is trying to help everybody understand information that's critical to make decisions. And with that, we've looked at economic impacts. Our website is full of information. Our online business directory, which was replaced from the former one, is, I'm going to say, awesome. The new company that we're working with has been great. We have been winnowing down all of the duplicates and things like that that appear in the online database, and have been checking in with companies. And this system allows us to send out emails to our businesses to update their directory, and they can update it through the email that we send them, and it will automatically update online. And so we think that's a real benefit for the community to have access to businesses that are here. And we think it's going to be productive for some of the businesses that may be looking for work. We've known that staffing has been an issue for the longest time, and I don't know that it's going to help. It's not going to find you a massive amount of people, but to the extent that you get information out to people in Scarborough that there are jobs available, we think that's an important mission for us, and we'd like to do that. And then, obviously we continue to track census releases, and we follow that as part of our intelligence tracking. And then the rest of the information is really, the Scarborough by the numbers. We'll be going over this in the business, or in the celebration of business. And it's really the straightforward, here are the things that are happening in Scarborough right now. And with that, the only additional pieces are, we do have staff descriptions, and we did publish the meeting schedule again. So it's very clear when we meet, how we meet, and that you can find us online and at YouTube. So with that, that's the presentation of the annual report, and I will, if you don't mind, opening it up for discussion or additions or subtractions.
I'd like to go right ahead and make a motion to accept this fantastic report. Not only extremely visually appealing, but really a great amount of information in it. And I, in my motion to accept it, I just am personally proud to be associated with this organization, because I think we really do, we have a role to play to support decisions made ultimately by John and members of the town council. And Karen just does a super job, and Magda's right there in support. And so I make a motion that we accept this and move it on to the council.
I'll second. Any discussion, comments, questions on Kevin's motion?
I just noted one thing in by the numbers, and I'm pleased to talk to you after the fact. I think there's one little oversight here.
Okay.
We don't need to. Well,
Okay.
now I just want to make sure it's correct.
I think that's an edit. So.
Yes. So just curious, which number?
The page 50 non-residential square footage. I think you should be referencing billions, not millions. It's just a matter of 3 zeros. Okay.
Well, the 163,000 square feet is not on square footage. It would be millions. Value. Okay. Thank you. I will double check that.
Any other questions, comments, feedback? Okay, all in favor of Kevin's motion to accept? Any opposed? Nice job.
Nice job.
As always.
Okay.
So strategic plan reviews now.
Yes, so in your report, you have the 4 initiatives of the strategic plan. And I just, want to make sure we are checking in on these. And with that, I also wanted to get a sense of any priorities. Like, once again, every year I say this, that, we're trying to make a small business package, and we keep getting distracted by other things. So that is an absolute must this year, that we need to do our small business package. And I think that one of the other things that we really thought, really since the pandemic, is the issue of attraction and who are we attracting and what industries and that type of thing. It may be time for us to check back in. I know that we've been working with our neighboring communities and beginning that discussion with them as well. So if it makes sense to you to begin to focus on that, I'd like to at least bring those two things forward.
That was one of the, when I think back to that strategic planning retreat we did at the public safety
Exactly.
building, that was, I think, one of the most universal
Mhm.
things of everybody's top 10 list was
Absolutely.
identifying and attracting the types of industries and business that we want for Scarborough, if I recall.
Just if I could, for the record, Rick reviewed the report prior to your discussion, and he also votes to approve.
Of
Ah.
course he did. Of course he did. Rick does it
Excellent.
all.
Thank you, Rick. So, and what I would suggest is, we've laid out our meetings for the year. And what I would say is, let's assign, those two topics to a meeting so that we devote, an hour of our time, with really talking about the fundamentals. What does it mean, to do this, small business package? How can we help them? And what does it mean to be attractive to different businesses? And there's certainly a lot of literature. It changes over time, and it's time to check back in on what businesses are looking for, whether it's small business, medium business, large business. What are people looking for? What is it that has changed from the pandemic, if anything? And I would propose December. Which would be our next full, after the annual meeting, our next full meeting would be December, and there's enough time in there for staff to do some good work in November. We really circle back to the small business development.
I was just gonna add, I think that may be very timely because there are echoes out there in the business community that there is a correction, a COVID correction in terms of remote work and, in person and who's working hybrid and the timing might be very good to discuss that in December.
So December would be, I'm sorry, there was the two, there's the business package and
Attraction.
the industry.
Mhm.
You're saying which one of those for December?
I was thinking the small business piece, because that's been on our,
Mhm.
all of those things are in the strategic plan. We're just saying, all right, let's pull this one out for this year and get something done on it. So that we don't lose focus. And having the board guidance on that is really helpful for staff. So, yeah, and we can do it the other way around. We can look at industries first. And one of the things I do want to look at when we start looking at industries is I feel like Scarborough has a very diversified set of businesses, both in terms of taxpayers and in terms of types of businesses and employment, and that's a great thing. I think it's in here somewhere. I think our largest taxpayer is sitting right next to me. And I think no, I'm not going to say, because I think it's the top 10 make up 6% of the
6.3.
entire base. That's pretty remarkable, because I think in most communities you're going to see the top 10 taxpayers being a little bit more lopsided, that they pay for more. And it's the same on employment size, but now we're talking actual data. So
I would actually, I think I'd like for the December meeting to be about the small business resource. I support that. And I think as we think about the attraction and the key performance indicators that we want to create, I think would be good for the start of the new year.
Yeah, still maybe, well, if we're. Obviously, other things will come up, but if the thought is to spend most of the December meeting on the small business. then we might have other things we need to do. So maybe
February.
February, March, do the history attract, what would be the history attraction.
Yeah.
One of those two meetings.
I'm not sure where it fits, but Karen, you mentioned in passing about work with your, I think, other municipal partners, regional partners. And then also identifying industry types and sectors that we'd like to track. It strikes me that a lot of that work is best done at the regional level.
Yep.
It's really hard to do it kind of appropriately. And I mentioned, I believe the GPEDC is starting to kind of wind back up and see if there's some new life. I don't know where this fits in the conversation, but I for one am interested in getting being part of a kind of a regional conversation, regional platform to promote the greater Portland area that, what's good for Portland, good for us and vice versa.
I'm serving as chair of the board now, so, so I believe I have,
There we go.
some, leeway on that to bring that forward with the,
Some notes,
Oh.
this online.
I think I set her up for that. I had no
yeah.
I didn't realize.
idea. We're all-
Yeah, it was mostly, okay, you've been here the longest, why don't you do it? Started,
Alan?
but
I-
that's okay.
I could be wrong on this, but I think that December may be Rick's last meeting.
Yes.
And for all his work on this board and
Yes.
other boards across Scarborough, I think it would be nice if we could recognize that
Mhm.
somehow.
Could that be
Be
worked
at the
into?
annual,
Yes, it
Absolutely,
can.
at the
October?
celebration, yeah.
Yes.
He's gonna be, yeah,
At the meeting, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, dinner,
Celebration,
dinner,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, yes.
That is an excellent,
Mhm.
excellent suggestion.
And he's not here to hear that, right?
Yeah.
He's not, he's not.
And Karen, I'm happy to-
Surprise.
because ironically, Rick was the one who got me,
That's
brought
funny.
me on the
Perfect.
SEDCO, so I'm happy to do that. So,
And I can sneakily tell his wife so that she can be there. Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
if you have such a good base, you can do. I don't know if that.
No, that's, I mean, he's been a crap.
Okay, yeah, I know him. He was the one that encouraged me to join that long time. So, but we can both listen to if you know his them and his wife. So,
Yes, yeah.
Okay, and then like, that's, if those two priorities, if we get through those two, we can choose two more. But let's get through those two. And I think that's it for the priorities then.
I told you. We have 5 minutes remaining. Public comment,
Is there any?
public comment?
Anybody online? No? I wasn't anticipating that, but we're fully posted. All right, and again, just a reminder, everything that we've talked about today will hit at the celebration of business as well.
All right, well, we can adjourn and then have 5 minutes to just chat if people would want to. So any other comments or questions or anything before we adjourn the annual meeting?
Motion to adjourn?
Oh, if I could say, candidates night is next Wednesday,
Oh,
and Karen and I
At
are working with our Dylan and Keith and Leroy Crockett, we're gonna be putting it on next Wednesday night.